I don't think I've ever seen Keir Starmer give a speech once where he doesn't read it from a piece of paper. This tells me he's not a conviction politician. He doesn't speak from the heart. And it's highly likely he doesn't write his own speeches. He gets a flunky to do it instead. You'd think, wouldn't you, a politician with the conviction of his beliefs would just stand there in front of a camera and tell it how it is. But he can't. He doesn't. He never has, and he never will. He is your classic bought and paid for career politician with no interest in serving his people whatsoever, and this has become very evident ever since he's become Prime Minister. He doesn't give a jot about you or I. Now, considering the guy is thinking about sending our kids, our brave young men and women serving in the armed forces, into the front lines of the Ukraine and potentially die, he announced this by reading it off a piece of paper. He hardly ever looked at the camera. That's because he was reading his script. He said he is ready and willing to deploy UK troops to the Ukraine as part of a peacekeeping force, if necessary, to guarantee security and enforce a peace deal. And that was the threat. So he took that threat to the EU emergency meeting held by the French manlet Emmanuel Macron, and it didn't go to plan. Keir Starmer was hoping they'd also send in troops to accompany ours, but no. Just like I predicted in my previous video, if there was a conflict and there was a European army, it would be British soldiers going in first as cannon fodder. And that meeting was held, of course, because they're all panicking after being let out of peace talks by Russia and Trump. And that's because they don't trust them, and rightly so. How can you trust these leaders when they've had all these years to encourage peace talks, but instead they encouraged war, they funded it. They robbed money from their own taxpayers, didn't even ask them, not even a referendum, and gave billions of their money to Zelensky. 100 billion of that is missing. Make of that what you will. The European leaders are desperate for the war to continue because there's money to be made of it, that's why. But they're unwilling to send their own troops, like Keir Starmer is, because they don't want their fingerprints on the trigger, that's why. I reckon World War III will happen, eventually. These people are desperate for it to kick off, but they just don't want to pull the trigger, and they don't want the blame. So it's highly likely Keir Starmer went into this meeting, proposed sending in British troops to the front line in the Ukraine, saw that the Europeans were too cowardly to commit the same thing, for the reasons I've just told you, and is now running to Trump with his tail between his legs, and will be meeting with Trump sometime soon to beg him to provide a US backstop to a peace agreement. And he's going to demand this of President Trump. Good luck with that. And so after this meeting with Trump, and of course Trump will say no to Keir Starmer, what next? Will Keir Starmer send British troops into the Ukraine anyway, recklessly, because he wants to show the European leaders how woke and committed he is to the Ukraine and how much he wants to defeat Putin and Russia? I think so. This is how reckless and stupid the man is. Even former British Army generals were all over the radios yesterday giving their opinion, saying, it won't work, we haven't got the manpower. Anyone signing up for a career in the British Armed Forces now are doing so, to put their lives on the line for this idiot and his, his way of thinking, it's nuts. His ideology, his warped way of thinking, and it's just not worth it. You're not fighting for British freedom and liberties now, not that we have much anyway, but is Britain worth fighting for? Absolutely. Is the government worth fighting for? Absolutely not. This is a government who jails people for free speech, turns a blind eye to grooming gangs, risen taxes steeply, and spent our money abroad on woke vanity projects. Ukraine is nothing to do with us. It never was, and it never should be. It's on the brink of peace thanks to Trump and Putin, and that could all be snatched away thanks to the stupidity of the likes of Starmer. I don't think I've ever despised a politician so much in my life. He really is a dangerous, warped fanatic, and the sooner he's out of power, the better. And there we go. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Would you join up if Keir Starmer conscripted all of us to fight in the Ukraine? I wouldn't. And I wouldn't feel bad or cowardly by refusing to do so either. So there we are. I'm Paz49. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't and you like what I say in my videos. And I'll see you at the next one. Roger Trout.